Okay, sorry for that. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll just have Elena give some feedback from last week's meeting on the two, and then she can start with
Sure.
feedback from today.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I really like both of them from last week. I did kind of agree that the hand had a little bit of a legibility thing, but it looks much better here. Like with it cut off in the word give, it looks a lot more like a G.
For sure.
I do think my two favorites now are kind of shifting to the bottom two, though. I really like the two hands with the heart in the middle, and then actual hand with the heart.
The hand with the heart.
Yeah, I really like both of them.
Okay. And I I like the first one. Still, I like how you made it more of a G and then took it out of basic needs and stuff. But then I also like the two hands and the heart in the middle, the last one.
The bottom.
Yeah, the
right.
bottom. Yeah, I really like that one too.
Yeah, and I guess my feedback is, while they all look amazing, I still love that first one, with the way the hand is somewhat playful, but then is incorporated into the font. I think that means that they can. I think the key for one of the things that I really like about the first one is that I feel like the hand could be separated, excuse me, as an identifier, and can stand alone without the words give basic needs. But I also feel that it can stand together with the words give basic needs. So I feel like there's almost a way that they can be decoupled there, and the same messaging. And I really like that. So that's probably my favorite right now.
Luke?
I really like the updates to the first one as well, with that makes it look more like a G.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
really good.
Give us all your thoughts.
The one on the top right, I think it was cool. It just feels a little like the arms are a little long, and it just feels a little. And the one on the bottom right, I kind of like, but it feels a little bit like too much is going on. Like we want to keep like a simple, and like, but I really like that. I don't know if it's, I don't know. It's hard to put into words. Like I like that arrangement, but I feel like it's a little bit too much going on. And so I'm still attached to the first one with the hearts and the hands and the heart. But my thoughts would be to like make the waves spread out more, but I almost really like the changes to the first one now more. I could see that, and I get what you're saying, Kevin. I totally agree with you, how like that could kind of stand alone, and like people will associate that with us, whereas the one with the red heart and hands, some of the feedback that I've been getting is that people feel like that's already out there, or they've seen that before, because it's kind of like a common. But I feel like the positive to that though would be that we could be known, like associated like with that, like and like I don't think we should worry about like what's out there or what's like, because we can make our own, define our own brand, if that makes sense. Like but
I think the first one here for me really just screams unique professionalism. Like, it feels like, you know what I mean? It just feels like, wow, that was not, some guy with his first day on the job. Like that's it just screams professionalism to me. And uniqueness, and identify a logo. And like I said, I like that it could stand. How about you, Luke? Did you already go? Luke, what do you think? What are you liking or not liking?
I think I like the top left one the most.
First
The
one.
updated.
The updated original.
Yeah.
I guess we should call that the updated original.
Or the last one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And Amanda, what are your thoughts on the logos? We're up for all feedback from everyone. How do you feel about these logos and how they make you feel? I'm sorry, I couldn't. Andrea, I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think we
I couldn't see it so good. I apologize.
She might have dropped. Yeah. She was there, but then
Oh,
the
did she?
network.
Yeah, the network, it went bad. So, okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. So, Daniel, I think you're left.
I like them all. They're all good. I think my favorite might be the bottom right, though. Bottom right or the top left.
Okay.
Okay.
Luke and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those two also, but I think the first one, the updated one, is hitting more for me. I think too, just because we can use that symbol alone, and too, like going back to that first presentation, how you kind of tied the different colors in with the different photos and stuff like that. It's just, I just really like that. It just makes me feel, I don't know, just hits me good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that part of something that Christina, this is something for you to take as feedback as well, is that and this is kind of like when we were talking about, Abby and I were talking about the budget for marketing and messaging and how we want it to play and whatever. There really is a part of our messaging that goes to the people we're trying to create happy with. And then there's an organizational message. And so like in that one example where it was the bus stop, your message was like spot on. Like that made me, like I could do small acts and have a big impact. It still sticks with me. And I think that logo can do that messaging as well as show up on a donor page that says, if you help us donate, if you donate to us, we can do amazing things together. And so I think that's why that first one that's been revised really stands out to me. And I think that it can go to both of those avenues of messaging. One for who we were trying to create happiness for and reduce suffering in a low income community, and then who we can solicit donations to and say we are Give Basic Needs. We're the creators of happy. So I think that first one really can play both of those roles, not just the donor role, but also the messaging role in the communities that we're working in. And Andrea, I apologize. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I misspoke when I called your name earlier. I apologize. But if you wouldn't mind giving us your feedback on the logos, we'd love to hear what you think about them.
Yeah, sorry, I pressed the end call button on accident.
It's okay. No worries.
I don't use this platform at all, so I'm getting
no problem.
No,
just like everybody said, I like the first one as well. It's really clean and simple. I think it sends a great message, so I agree with everybody.
Okay, great. Well, I think that President. So Andrea, we also refer to the Abby as the president as Presidu because our contact in Ghana says that they don't call their president the president, they call him the Presidu because they should be doing things. And so if you hear that word, you'll know we're referring to Abby. So I don't know if the president wants to take a decision now, or if you want to think about it and let Christina know in the coming days, or how you want to do it.
Yeah, I think I'll sit on it, or we'll sit on it. Everybody can for a few more days and stuff. And I think probably, I don't know, Tuesday-ish, Wednesday-ish.
Yeah, for sure.
Make a final decision, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay. Sounds good.
So,
I'd like to hear from Salam too. If he doesn't make it on this call, I'd like to get his feedback too, because it'll be important of what he thinks, how it's going to portray, in Ghana.
He just showed up. Salam, welcome.
how's it going, Salam?
You may be muted, Salam. Or having network.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Welcome,
Hello.
Salam.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late to the meeting.
It's okay. No problem. We were just looking at all of the beautiful work that Christina put together for us. You can obviously see them, I think, on your screen.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yes, I didn't hear that, please.
Yeah, let's everyone turn off their cameras except for Christina, who's presenting, and that might help Salam with the network.
Okay, I think I can turn off my camera but keep the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect. So Salam, can you see what Christina is sharing?
Yes, please.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Christina. If you want to just give a really quick overview of the four, that would be great, and how the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll start from the beginning from the feedback slide, if you can see that, Salam.
Yes, I can.
So yeah, so last week, our feedback was that the first design here that I presented was a bit too playful, hard to read, and the icon does not read quite like AG from Give Basic Needs. And design two might feel a little too corporate, too rigid. It might need to be a bit more personal. So I did a few options, developing the design one and then having a few extra designs to combine the two ideas together. So this is the developed design one, where I solved the legibility issues with just some straightforward adjustments. And then on the icon, just adjusted it to read a bit more like a G. And the same goes for the G over here. And then a few other options where I combine kind of the hand and the heart together to really represent what Give Basic Needs is about, but in a more kind of simple, playful, but not kind of too unserious way. And option 3, where it's based more on the heart, and then the two hands represent a hug. And then last but not least, just having two hands together, and then they kind of come together in a heart shape. So yeah, this is kind of what I went through. If you have any thoughts, initial thoughts, any
What's your
reaction?
feedback,
I think
Salam?
I like all of them.
Did,
Yes,
Is
but
there
I
any?
definitely have a favorite.
Is there anything you gravitate towards more, maybe with, just intuitively, or something you kind of look at and just think, yes, I like that the most? But it's okay if you
So
don't.
I can't really pinpoint anything, but I think I like the third one.
This one, the bottom left.
Yes, that one where the cursor is. Yes,
Yeah.
because like you said, so there's that love symbol
Mm-hmm.
and the hands, and it also look playful, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
and the readings are very clear as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering what
I
it would
think
look like if you connected that, like instead of the space there, if you connected that to make, like, to complete the heart.
to
I don't
complete
know.
the love symbol. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
that's good. That's good feedback. I think we got feedback, Salam, from everybody on the call, and we were waiting on yours. So that's good feedback. And the president has said that she'll probably take a decision on Tuesday or Wednesday based on the group's feedback.
Yeah, that way
Okay.
we all can kind of sit with it a little bit, and if anybody wants to reach out and message, either Christina, myself, kind of talk things through or whatever, then maybe by Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll make a final decision. And that way, once we make a final decision, Christina, kind of what are the next steps?
I guess the next steps would be to start developing, social media assets, and I think first order of action would be, the poster for the music festival, and developing how that looks, and any other assets that go into it, like you've mentioned, the card and the potentially wristbands, t-shirts, etc. So
Yeah.
creating, the kind of the world around it in a way.
Yeah, just really quick. I mean, it's good that obviously you and Elena are here because she does the social media. Do you see it being most beneficial for us to launch the new branding prior to August's event in that, like on Facebook, for example, or Instagram? Do you see our logo transition before his event, or do you see like his event with the flyer just kind of nailing all the logistics and how things are going to go, giving us some more time, obviously, and then launching and then changing our Facebook, our Instagram, all of those logos? Which direction do you see it going, Christina and Elena?
Um, I guess I don't know, Elena. Do you have any first thoughts since you're the marketing manager?
I feel like doing it before might be better. That way, when the new logo comes out on like the flyers and stuff, people can draw lines between. They're like, oh, this, rather than like, if we put the new one on the flyer, then they go to look at our Instagram and we haven't launched it yet, they might be like, is it the same organization type thing?
Sure.
So if we launched it whenever we're kind of ready, then it would give us some time to kind of get it in front of everybody's eyeballs before we start marketing for the event. Just for
we could also like kind of introduce it by like we could talk about it, saying we got something like a surprise to show you guys, like kind of build up some.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. That's a good idea. Christine, how do you feel about it?
I feel like, yeah, definitely. I do agree with potentially, essentially the way I see it is kind of, in a way,
creating some hype,
relaunching the brand and kind of reintroducing it to the people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So potentially creating posts about what Give Basic Needs is and what it's about, and kind of creating a visual style for the posts, and kind of reintroducing it to the people in a way, but just with new visuals, new logo. And like prior to that, maybe some kind of teaser posts, like we're shaking things up, or like something a bit more clever. I'm no marketer, but that's how I'm feeling.
No, that sounds good to me, and I like that with the kind of the teaser post, and then you could even, depending on which logo it is or whatever the decision is, you could definitely work around that. My only concern with that would be the timing, Christina, because you're doing the design and all of that. I don't want to overburden you with that work effort, because a lot of that effort, I think, is going to come from you with the logo. I mean, I feel like we're 95% there. I mean, we could easily choose any of these. They're all great. So I don't see like us going through 20 more iterations. There's not a need for that.
Right.
Do you agree, Abby?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to do like 20 more iterations and try and change this a little bit. You're a professional. They look phenomenal. I feel like it's just the amount of workload that it's going to take for you to work with Elena to get image sizing or whatever you guys need to do. Is that too much of a burden to try to launch the logo and do the teaser post and those things prior to August's event and Andrea's event, or is it something that you feel comfortable that's something you could complete in that time frame? I want to definitely defer to you.
Can you remind me again when the day is for the event?
It's June 22nd, Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, June 22nd, Sunday, from noon to 4.
Yeah, so I feel like we're kind of mostly aligned on the logo. Yeah, if we can align, on like Tuesday latest, I can start working on the poster and then like thinking about maybe social media posts. I feel like, before June, I think that's a reasonable amount of time to do all of that, and and then kind of we'll see where we're at once.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like super polished. I just want to make sure that we're not overstepping our bounds with your time, because we clearly value it, and we want to make sure that we're respectful of that.
For sure.
I like the idea too of creating like suspense or kind of like hype, like saying we're getting ready to announce or launch. Like I think, like I think we can really bring like a big crowd, and I think it would be cool to like kind of talk about it or announce it at the show, and then like try to build like hype or like suspense and like kind of tease about it on social media. But I could see also the benefit too to having it being introduced earlier, so people are more comfortable and like know it as it rather than. But I think if we just talked about it and introduced it as like we're updating, like as like we like send that message so that people know that it why it looks different.
And I think Christina makes an excellent point that we should reintroduce the entire organization, essentially, with our mission, with our vision, at least pieces of it, in those posts to say, hey, look, it's been 3 years. We've been doing amazing things, but we're just getting started. And to kick it all off, we decided that our logo needed to be stepped up. And this is some amazing work that Christina did, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's great. So if you're comfortable with that timeline and you feel that that's something that we can do, then Christina will continue to go at your pace, and let us know either in these calls or in Discord should something come up. We totally get it. Like life happens, and so just keep us posted. And I think we'll continue to drive to the date after the president makes a decision on Tuesday, and then we can continue to dialogue and correspond on how we want to do it.
Great,
lovely, sounds great, guys.
Yeah,
good.
Thank you for that.
Any other feedback on this topic before we move on? Anybody?
So I just wanted it sounds like people are really liking the first and the revision to the first one. I don't know if anyone's still considering that the second one with the 2 hands and the heart. But if we made that like lighter or smaller or had like the waves more spread out, I think it might work. But my soul and like my spirit is like telling me like the first one. Like when I see that, I feel happier almost in a sense, and I think that's really powerful for a logo and like a symbol.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great feedback.
Definitely, that's good.
So we August, we should talk if we can really quick about your project.
Yeah.
Because we evaluated the budget, and this is obviously related to Andrea as well. But we talked about the budget.
I saw your guys' changes and tips, and I made those.
Yeah, and we actually, I can show. I don't know if everyone in Discord saw it or not, but I can share really quick. I'm sorry, I got to remember how to do this. Just can somebody help me? Start sharing. Yeah. So let me share. I'm just going to share everything because I'm not worried. But I'm going to show really quick this image. Apologies, and hopefully you can. Sorry.
No worries, you're good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show, and I apologize if it's small. Can you see this chart okay that I'm showing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is so we've been working on budget. So just to level set everyone, we are a nonprofit in the US, and we fall under the classification as a private operating foundation. And because of that, we have to make our donations that we're required to make by the end of the year based on the year that we're in, which is a bit tricky. And so we're actively budgeting essentially after the April-May timeframe is the time that we shore up our budgets, because we have to be compliant in the year in which we're operating, but we don't know exactly what that looks like until our taxes are filed on May 15th. So our taxes are already with the CPA. They're working on the numbers. I'm working on the numbers. And this is essentially where the President and I just landed after currently. And so this essentially says for our annual budget for Give Basic Needs is 300,000. That's our target, 301 for this year. We have allocated with our wages approximately 209, which gives us around 92 remaining to spend for this year. And so when you look at this really quick, these are the categories in which we give: food, medical, and shelter. And the green line is the actual. So this is literally what's in our ERP system, the 5,000 we've spent. And then we've allocated a budget in the food area of 15,000 for a total budget of 27,000 in food this year. These are the numbers then for medical. You'll see here we've done 5,000. We have allocated a budget of 27, and our target is 27. And then when we get down here to shelter, you'll see that we've done 2,300. We've allocated 14, and we need to do 27. And so what this means is kind of visible in this next chart, which shows essentially all of the giving that's taken place for this year has been in Ghana. And so this is the Ghana food budget that has been that we've actually seen purchase invoices for. This is the medical, and then this is the shelter. So you can see we haven't done anything in the US yet for this year. We haven't done any giving in Mexico for this year. But this is essentially where we are. Now, we can talk a little bit about where, so is what I would expect to see is with August and Angie's event. Andrea, my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't get that right. Andrea's event is that that will be, we're going to classify that as a medical event because of mental health. And so even though there's a food component, that's primarily going to be classified as a medical event because we feel that music creates happy and lifts the spirits of so many through mental health. So we would expect to see that event come in here as a U.S. giving event in the month of June. Sorry, apologize again. So with that, I want to just share that we have additional budget here, and we're going to ask August to increase the budget again for the food that he's planning on giving out, and maybe open that window from, I think, Abby, you correct me if I'm wrong, but it was originally from noon to 1.
Noon to 1.
Yeah, noon to 1, there was going to be food. We'd like to go ahead and open that up for free food from noon to the music starts, which we think is 2, right, August?
So the music actually starts at noon. We're going to start right off the bat, and then Hearts and Boots was going to play for the first hour and then have food for that first hour. But do you want to do 2 hours, like have food?
Yeah, we're thinking that we want to increase because we have the capacity, and food insecurity and low income communities is one of the things that we focus on. And you guys have the event. We're thinking that increasing the food budget for an additional $500 US would make sense. And we think that shouldn't put too much of a burden on you, August, as a program assistant. And so I just wanted to get your feedback on that. As we look at the budget, it's going to continue to evolve, but we think an additional 500 there would be good. Just wanting to get your feedback and Andrea's feedback.
Are you going to
regarding that?
That we can definitely do that. That's not a issue at all. Is that going to increase the budget to 2,500, or do you want me to reallocate it from other?
No, I think you can increase the budget to 2,500, and that'll be great.
Okay, got it.
And then the only thing on that, this is the thing that I was thinking about, August, and you can get a feel for this, is I understand it's going to be like a buffet or like handing out food in some way. I just want to make sure that, so like when we've done
I'll get a
events,
list of all the food that we have. I'll provide that list so we can share that ahead of time. And
okay, and I guess
I'm
the
gonna I'm
concern
gonna talk
isn't,
to Steve
our concern
after
isn't
this.
like we want to provide options that are going to be desirable, obviously, and you know that. But one thing that we want to do is want to make sure that essentially all the food that we paid for goes to the community. So if for at some reason, let's say there were 20 leftover sandwiches, we want to make sure that those go to the community in some way. Maybe they could be dropped off at a local food bank.
Yeah, there's a food drive
Okay.
that I know of that I can.
Yeah,
we
so
can
I just want to make
share.
sure that the dollars that we allocate towards food, the majority will clearly be given away at the giving event by compliance reasons. That's what we're going to have to do. But if there is anything left over, I want to make sure that it goes to members of the community in through some other avenue, like maybe a food bank or something like that. Wouldn't you agree, Abby?
Yeah, no, I think definitely that's important.
Yeah, so we're willing to increase the food budget. We just want to make sure the food goes out and it isn't wasted and gets into the community. So, so I just wanted to share that. Andrea, do you have any thoughts on the event or how you're feeling about the event and what August has told us? Do you have any questions for us about how you think it's going to go down or concerns you might have?
I don't have any questions now, but I have August's number. I can just ask him when things come up and if the band has any questions.
Okay.
But for right now, what we have in mind is June 22nd from like 12 to 4. Food. We're hoping to get a lot of people out. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That sounds great. Well, I know that you're going to create happy, and I can't wait to see the video. So one thing that we do is August is working on this for somebody to capture the event. We capture it in photos and like a 3 to 5 minute YouTube video. And we do that for compliance, but also for our donors. And so I'm super anxious to be able to see how the video went and listen to some music. And I'm excited for it for sure.
What I kind of want to do is have people like take videos and pictures during the event and then ask them to post them. And then I can go in there and download all those videos and put together like a little documentary, like recap of people's posts.
Yeah,
but I was going to
awesome.
film also just on my own phone, like separate videos. So it's consistent, like the quality is consistent. So I might do both. I checked into like getting a professional videographer and they're expensive. They're like very expensive.
Yeah.
I was trying to you got to find the right person. I really want to find somebody who like would do it for a really, really like low price, like just for the mission and like that. But there's a lot of like videographers, like we're saying, it's like to do professional video and then the sound as well. And then the editing. But it's a short video. So I was thinking I'll just do it myself. I can edit videos and and then we'll just get posts from social media.
Yeah,
we got to create like some like hashtags.
That sounds great. I think that's good. My only concern is that